recording for the re-upload. So I hope guys will enjoy. I am with someone that has already made an appearance previously on my channel. You can now present yourself.
It's me, Can't Pay again. Just kidding. It's DPSI.
And that's only because you sound almost like him. So I hope guys will enjoy. So this time around, we are doing basically a live stream where we are doing a replay commentary about a game we did yesterday. And this was a very interesting game. I actually enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I think we will learn a lot of stuff because DPSI is obviously much better than me. So I hope guys will enjoy. And why did you pick koal?
Well, I think the best choice on this map has got to be Jess, kind of by a long shot almost. At least that's what I think Kantbay would say. I still think Jess is really good. Adder also seems pretty good. I wanted to try out koal because there's like a fair amount of roads, like enough that I would give him a consideration. And although I don't think he's the best pick here, I thought I would just see how he plays.
That's good. And I know Sami is truly bad in big maps, but I was like, I want to play Sami. Even if I knew she was bad, I wanted to play Sami. So now you are in charge, you can move further the cursor. And yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy.
Alrighty, so I'll just do this next turn to begin with. Okay, so far going for the second base first. That's a looks like you're behind the scroll bar, but you also did that, and you capture forward first, which is the standard move. I decided to be funny and go for the airport first. I think this is really bad. Probably. I just wanted to see what would happen because I've never tried it, and I just want, sometimes you just need to try new things. So I was like, okay, airport first and get a T-copter. Let's just see what happens. Oh yeah, and then I mean the normal captures in the lower left. You go for the normal captures. Yeah, and then let's see. So I capture up. So this whole front is now delayed a full turn until I get a T-copter boost to like try to make it go faster. It's like normal infantry moves. Okay, so yeah, I knew you went APC because you had a mech over here like pretty early on. So you do the APC, which is good. That's like my favorite way to open on this map is build an APC there, and then just like there's a lot of nice boosts that you can make out of it. So yeah, big fan of APC. Good. How did you come across the APC opening? Did you derive it independently, or did you see it happen from another person's game?
I like APC opening in this map since I have seen the DJ's video a few months ago with APCs being good. I always opened up with APC in this map. Not in all map. In a lot of map, I just don't mind making APC or... It all depends on the map, and I do think in this map, APC are really good. And I also think having Sami with APC makes her better because she can ferry mechs. Mechs are really like probably her best unit in my own opinion. So you need APC with Sami. Now of course in some maps I won't make any mechs because I won't see the use of the APC, but in this map I think the APC and the mechs are really useful.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do with Sami is to build that APC. For those of you who haven't seen the APC from the one base, There's like a lot of really convenient boosts. Like you can see this APC. One thing it can do is go down to this tile, and then this guy finishes capturing, and then next turn, like we can have this infantry boost a tile to here to capture this property in 2 turns. All the while, well, I guess you don't need something. I don't know. There's like a lot of convenient boosts. I feel so. The one I gave was actually not a great example, but okay. So now I'm in the lower left. I'm gonna start using the turn by turn. Okay, so okay. That move is hold on. How did I do that? I see. This guy goes up here. So, some of my capturing, like I noticed some problems. Okay, so I go. Okay, some capturing stuff. Note that this guy can reach this city in like at the. He can go here, 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 capture. That's a pretty nice chain. And then from there, you can even like run out to here and capture this property, which is like a really fast way of getting the corner. So that's like your second infantry can sort of get here very quickly with no APC. Maybe not very quickly, but like pretty quickly. Probably fast enough to capture it. So that's a nice. I think that's like a decent chain. And then the rest of it is like little amounts of optimization that adds up to something eventually, but you're optimizing too, so it'll probably be about even. I build a recon. I decided to build it here. There's like a lot more roads on this outer part, so I think it's faster. So if you build the recon here, I think it's slower to get to the juicy part over here where there's like stuff to interrupt.
Because of
so with this guy, because of the forest and the plains and then more forests. I think the recon kind of goes to this tile and then like takes all this road. So I think it's faster to go on the outside.
But why did you buy a recon? Because I know that opening is very popular and I just don't like it. And like, why a recon instead of waiting to get a tank?
Okay, so I just have a simple rule of thumb, which is if I'm higher rated than my opponent, I just buy more recons.
Okay.
Okay, the reason for this is twofold. Okay, so the first reason is I can probably do with like half a tank less of stuff, and I'll probably still win. So with the recon, I scout out like goofy stuff that they're gonna try to go for, and if I see something, like I just get more information, so I have the right units in place to counter everything. So that's why I go more recon heavy versus players that I feel have a higher variance. Also, I mean, I've played you that one time before, but like I couldn't remember what your playstyle was like, so I was like, yeah, I'll just build more recons, and then I'll get to find out faster. So.
You rolled on me because we were doing an eagle match and my morale was really low.
I
was like, mirror match with a better player than me. That will go well.
Yeah, I know. It's always a horrible feeling. I think, I vaguely remembered something weird you did in the opening. Like, I couldn't remember if you did no recon, or I couldn't remember if you did, like...
I opened with a tank.
You opened tank. Okay, yeah.
That's the kind of stuff I do.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't trust this dude. Like, time to recon it up because I don't really know what's gonna happen. So that explains the recon. Okay. Okay, so your APC goes for the mech immediately, and then you go for your airport decently fast at like a normal enough time. But you do actually go over the mountain. If I remember correctly, this is actually something that Deegis corrected Mengs about, because Mengs kind of like went over the mountain with his infantry to capture the airport. And Deegis suggests, and I suggest as well, moving this infantry over, because this infantry from this base reaches the airport in 1 turn, whereas the infantry from this base reaches the airport in 2 turns.
Okay.
So I think it's a little more efficient.
That that's a good chain, but I know I understand why it's a good chain, but I still feel like uh, the bases should go further instead of backward, and I don't know, even if it's taking more turn, I think sending the infantry toward the center faster is still a bit better, I guess, to have like building in the center faster. And I say that and you will see it because I think I reached the center faster than you. But
Yeah, you do.
yeah, that's just the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong because, as you said, we just said the same thing to mains, and I do the same thing. But I still think, at some extent, going by the mountain can make you go toward the center faster. But yeah, that's my thought process. Maybe I'm wrong, and guys are just are just right, and I'm just a beginner that doesn't know what he does.
Oh, I think that what you're saying has merit to it. I think that actually one thing you're not considering though is instead of sending the first infantry out of the space, who you send here, instead of sending him back to capture the airport, like you seem to think I'm suggesting, I think actually the second infantry should get the airport. So you actually delay the airport a turn. But
Oh
that's
yeah,
okay
yeah,
because
yeah.
like
That looks like a good thing I could try on my next time on that map. Yeah, I will
because
actually try that.
yeah, because like look here. So you built the you captured the airport and then you didn't do anything with the airport. So right now, like if you would have delayed it a half turn, if you would have delayed it a turn, it wouldn't have changed your build order at all.
Yeah, but sometimes I do like having a early battle capture in this map because I know air unit are really strong in this map. I know it by experience. So
Hmm.
sometimes I like to have the option, even if I don't always use the option. I like just to have it and knowing I got the option.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I'm like kind of a non. I kind of don't believe in battle copters in fog. Like some people build them a lot, and I just don't trust them.
Yeah, too
Um,
many is wrong. I've learned by experience that having more than two battlecopters tend to make you lose, except if you're like Eagle or Sensei. But these are like the only two exceptions where I say spam copters and tank. But like with any other seals, I tend to think and believe like one or two battle copter is the staple for like pretty much all seals, except maybe Grit because he just really likes the artery, so his staple should be like one battle copter. But battle copter, even if they are not really impressive, I think they are still much better in fog than standard because your opponent need to think ahead to have the counter because he doesn't know exactly when the battle copter will be built.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, I guess there's kind of a trade-off because, like, on one hand, in fog, you don't know when the copter is going to be built, but then when you have the copter on the field, you don't know when it's going to die to an anti-air. So, and that's the part that makes me dislike copters in fog because it just feels like very risky. Like you're rolling the dice every time you use it.
Yeah.
And it's so I prefer B copters in standard because I know what I'm going to get every time, and there's usually a strategy where you can like try to isolate the anti-air or try to dive on the anti-air with the power, and like you know exactly what you're getting into, where you can cripple the anti-air and then move in with the B-copter in the same turn, and then like that's a really strong move. But in fog, I feel like you never really know what's going on, so it's hard to it's hard to like move confidently with the B-copter in my opinion. But I don't know, other people disagree. That's just my 2 cents.
That's a good take. I like it, and that's the charm of fog. You don't know what to expect, and this is why I like so much fog. And recently, I started playing iPhones, and I do like iPhones because it feels like a new game. But I still prefer much more fog.
Yeah. Fog is definitely it feels the most different, I think. So
And I also think like standards, you're not really allowed to do any mistake, and it's all about mats and tile. And fog, you can actually surprise your enemy. Okay,
yeah, that's
so
true.
basically, Advanced Warrior is currently in the chat and says hi. So
Hey,
yes,
what's
it's
up?
okay, Advanced Warrior. So let's
Okay.
keep going here.
Yeah. Okay, so let me. Okay. One thing I missed, I built the T-copter here, and this was where I rushed the airport to get the fastest T-copter I could get without skipping a base.
Okay.
So here's my T-copter, and then as I built it, I'm like, well, I guess we'll find out what it does now. So I don't know. Um, okay, so you have 1K, and so this is like an interesting combo where your first kind of like anti-tank thing. It's not a tank. It's not a recon. I guess not a recon, but it's not a tank. It's not. You don't have an artillery. Your first thing is a mech APC duo, which is like a little bit flimsy. So I guess we'll see how you use it here. Um, okay. Oh yeah, one optimization. You went through the forest there. It's better for fuel if you go on the outside, but that's just like the tiniest little optimization that I'm OCD about these days.
That's cool to know. I mean, I don't think about
Yeah,
that. I'm just playing my stuff because they're like toys, and I'm like, oh, I will send my toy there.
yeah. It only gets it only like becomes a factor on day like 30 if you still have the ABC, and it hasn't happened to land on any cities, so it hardly ever matters. But like, it's my one pet peeve in this game lately. Is just like I'm this, and it's like so. Yeah, it makes very little difference almost all the time. So it just maybe it's not
APC,
even worth the mental stress, you know.
APC usually die before that. That's my experience. The moment the unit that are more important die, then the APC is the next target.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me see. So you did a okay, right? So you build the tank on your one base side. Now, like the Degis Can't Bay Go 7 school of thought is like you build your vehicles on your strong side, and then you have like this strong side, weak side thing that everybody raves about that I don't truly understand. Um, I guess one thing that I do notice that I kind of do understand is like is so if you do build more vehicles and like pump more money into your weak side, then it kind of tends to stall the game out a little bit more. Um, because like the two base push is a little bit less pushed forward, so the game is like a little bit less knife's edge, so it's like easier to stall. It is my opinion about it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What I thought by that is usually you surprise your opponent because I know Degis and Go and all the good players they tend to make more unit in their strong side, which is natural and normal. And this is one of the reasons why I like to make my own army on my weak side to really surprise my opponent. But of course, I won't like just forget about the stronger side. Like at some point, you will see me starting making some units on the stronger side, but usually I start with my weaker side for the effect of surprise, first of all, and second, because I like it.
oh yeah, definitely.
I don't
That's
like to
like a
follow the
cool.
rules.
You're a rebel. Yeah. Okay, so let me forward by this. Okay, so all right, so this turn I get to figure out what to do with my T-copter. There's like two infantry here. I have like a couple options. I think the best one is like you boost this guy a tile forward. Oh, I remember what I do now. Yeah. Okay, so capture, move, recon sees nothing. Okay, so I moved this infantry back because I feel like there's not enough properties to capture in the middle to justify sending this guy forward. And so then I moved this. So I move this guy forward, and then I boost this guy from the base. And then I build another infantry that's gonna be transported by the T-copter. So like, already I have this guy moves way the heck up here. I boost to get this city, and then I have the T-copter ready with another infantry in the like all the way moving 3 tiles to reach it. Like one sort of way of measuring the efficiency of your T-copters is seeing how far away the infantry are when they load in. If you have an infantry that's like as far away as possible that's loading in, it's like you're getting the most possible squares out of your T-copter.
That's the thing to do. You want to make good use of the T-copter.
Yeah. And then I have like 9,000 gold here, so to me that screams tank in this situation. So I do the go 7 Degis strat and do the tank on the strong side here. I don't know. I didn't really think too hard about this. I was just like, let's just have a strong side tank, and then that was that. Okay, so okay, I kind of know what's going to happen here because I saw it with my recon. Okay, yeah, this infantry goes way deep. So yeah, that's kind of yeah. That's like a. Let me think if you could
Be honest, is it good or bad? My thought process, I send it far away because I want to boost my infantry as far away as I can. And maybe I can attract some recon because I know good player like to open recons. So I did kind of expect here opening with a recon because I played versus Cynic, opens with a recon. I play versus Catpie, opens with a recon, then a Nia tank. Spoiler alert for a future video. And
yeah.
I just know for a fact that most good player open with recons. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can bait a recon and maybe I can take a shot at it with my tank or something like that. I know I'm out of reach, but I still wanted like to see your recon coming, you know?
Yeah, I think I was just thinking if there's like a better tile for the infantry to go. Maybe one option is put the infantry over here, and then that way it gets vision of this city and gets vision of this city, and this city too, I guess. But it gets to double check to see if a recon sits on the city first, and then it's not because like I mean you can do the math and figure out exactly where my early recon can be, but it just happens to be one tile out of vision. And so if I had vision of this infantry, I could attack from the city. So like maybe you can math it out and figure out this infantry is safe here. But it just feels like it's a little bit safer going to this tile. Because attacking from the city with a recon is like a pretty... If I could do it, I think I almost certainly would, because it's so early in the game and your infantry super far forward. So it feels safer for the infantry to be here, because if I would attack from plane or road, then it would take a lot more damage from tank. So, I don't know. This just feels like a little bit dangerous. Always like putting your units next to empty cities. Yeah, just a bad feeling.
You're right, but you see, everyone makes mistake, and this is why we do replay. Now you tell me this, next time I won't do it. I know I don't follow the rule, but I follow what people tell me about what's good and wrong. That's how I improved.
Yeah, because actually, if I had moved to this tile instead of this tile, no, never mind. I'm out of control. I didn't make any sense. Okay, but yeah, tiny optimization. I didn't matter. Okay, so I moved to this city. I'm thinking like, actually, let me go like turn by turn. So
Now you just surprised me. I have seen double recon in the same side. I cannot wait for you to explain this.
Okay, so infantry moves over here. T-copter being useful. This guy gets a boost to that tile. I go with a tank on this side because I feel like I'm about to push pretty far forward with my infantry, and I want a tank supporting it. So that's like a good use for a tank. Is like if you're gonna have tank no recon, a nice. If you're like going for a bunch of captures at once, you can just stick a tank in the middle of your formation, and then it guards everything against. It guards against everything at once, which is like a good feeling. Okay, so I move forward here with my recon. And I see infantry way the heck over here, and I see a mech like really far forward. And I'm like, okay, where's the APC? So,
In the forest.
yeah. I knew there was an APC somewhere, and I was like, okay, so opened mech APC. That's good to know. Like, and then I was like, okay, so like, yeah, Master Kanbei knows what's going on here. So,
And I'm the first one to trash mechs because mechs are trash. But hey, Sami need mechs. So here's my question. Why recon on the bottom? You already have a recon on your strong side. Why didn't you went for recon on top base? I know you explained why you got a tank there, but why didn't you like save money for next turn or something? Why to recon on the same side of the map?
I think I don't know. It felt right at the time. I think part of why it felt right is because I had exactly enough money for tank recon infantry, and I was like, okay, I want another recon, because if he's opening like mech APC opener, then there could be some funny stuff happening. He's funkier than I thought he would be, so I want more vision.
Funkier is it good or bad?
Well, it depends. You know, you just need vision to figure out what the funk is going on, and then you figure out what to do. So yeah, I just went with another recon because it full buys. But as you're correct in noticing that, like
after it crashed, we are back, and I hope this time around it will go well. I will give you mouse control as usual. Do you have mouse control now? Perfect! Let's do this. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Shall we begin here?
Yeah, we should.
Okay, sounds good. So we were talking about why I built the recon, and I think it was just my recon's deep, and I want to know more about what's going on because I saw mech and inferred APC, so I'm just want to know more. The tank here is to like defend all the infantry, and it looks like you actually built a mech on the previous turn from this base.
Yeah.
On big maps like this, I basically never build mechs unless they have an APC ready to carry them somewhere.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. I'll mind my own business.
You know, I trash talk the mechs a lot, so if I didn't add any plan, trust me, that mech would not exist.
Oh, okay, it's an APC, okay.
Mech are still trash for me, but hey, I am Sami, so let's overuse APC and mechs.
I don't think she can though, like unless the opponent goes medium tanks. Okay, so I saw. So you did APC here, which looks like it's gonna move the mech forward. Recon here, which I don't know. Apparently you despise, so I don't know why you built that, but
I need vision.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I want to see
Okay.
what's going on. I don't have a recon yet, and I feel like if I make it on top, it won't be as useful right now because I don't have any offensive unit in the top part of the map. So I was like, recon are like supporting unit, so they need to be like with tanks because on their own, yes, early in the game they are really good, but later on the game, if they are just alone sitting there, it's kind of a sitting duck waiting to die.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, definitely when it gets into the later parts of the game, you want your recon to have stuff around it so that you can like, hit what you see instead of just it's kind of ideal. Okay, so the first thing I do is I move forward. I'm like, okay, let me just talk about what I saw. So I had just seen the APC move out of the forest, so I'm like, okay, the APC was really deep. This guy goes over here. APC deep, Sammy probably has like, another APC mech somewhere. Let's just dive and get some information. And I see 2 tanks. I'm like, okay, well, goodbye, recon. You have served me well.
When I've seen that, I was like, oh, I will get the first blood of the game. Hell yeah! Against DPSI, I get the first blood.
Yeah.
That's
and I attacked from the road too because I didn't know what the damage was, so I was like, yeah, I'll just do extra damage from the road. And I saw this, I was like, oh, damn it, I have to try this game.
that was the moment of pride for me. I was like, hell yeah, I got a kill on DPSI.
Yeah. Yeah, so I make that move, and then I look back and I'm like, okay, what do I have? Tank and a recon versus mech, tank, tank. Oh no. So I was like, this is not a good sign, so I need to and I don't even have enough money for 2 tanks this turn, so I'm like, okay, this recon really not feeling... Well, the good thing is I see the recon's about to die, so I'm like, okay, well, this guy gets to replace it, so...
You had him ready.
Yeah, he was ready, yeah. He just didn't know it yet, and now he knows, so... So now we do some moves here. So there's like an interesting question here. So this guy has the opportunity to dive deep for this city, which feels pretty nice. And then I was thinking do I bring the T-copter? Where do I put this infantry? Because I could put I could bring him all the way up here and go for this city, or maybe just go for be more humble and go for this city. I don't remember what I do. Okay, so it looks like I be humble and go for this city instead of diving deep for here, which I could have gotten actually if I was feeling feisty. But the issue with going that deep is that it would be out of the range of my tank. So this is the more conservative approach. Oh yeah, and when I saw these 2 tanks and the mech APC, I realized that there's no way you have anything over here. So I'm able to push forward aggressively with all my infantry and probably be okay. So this tank feels like it's out of position because it has nothing to hit. But on the other hand, it's it has free reign to do anything it wants to for 2 turns. Maybe one and a half turns. I don't know. So yeah, obviously tank here, and then looks like I'm going to have 4K in the bank, but that's okay because I'll spend it all. I can do with 20K. You can do tank artillery, and that's kind of what I was thinking. So actually, you show some restraint here and not immediately killing the recon, which that's what I do. As soon as I have a nice trade, I just first move, get the trade. But no, you actually calmly capture some cities, which is somehow more bad-mannered than just taking the recon. So, yeah. Okay, so you take the recon there, and actually going pretty deep with the tank, which that makes sense. This tank is in range, but I don't have vision of what's going on, so
And I
Then
got two
that made it
tanks.
even more infuriating.
So even if you decide to first strike me, since I got the advantage of the number, my counterattack will probably kill your tank.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was seeing red though, so I was just ready to go punch a tank. I mean, from a road, it's like 120, so that's
110. You don't have your tower yet.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I don't have my tower yet. So it does like 60 damage, and then it probably dies from the full HP tank from the city. So that's not a good option after all. But that's what I felt like doing. Okay, so you move your mech like really far forward into this forest, and I didn't see this at all. So this is like a pretty aggressive switch, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so you move the mech back sort of onto the mountain, but you know, whatever it's... Oh, and you get a boost out of it. That's nice. Okay, and then you do anti-air here and tank. And that's a full build. So for some reason, I feel like the airport just kind of more naturally goes up this side because it's supporting a one base, so it's like it's more of a help to the army, and it's also like a way of stopping any pushes from the two base side. If they don't have an anti-air and they push too far forward, you can just like hit back with a B-copter and just like hope they don't have an anti-air and just get a free hit. So
that's a good point. I didn't thought about that. So this is very good to know for future game. Thank you very much, man.
That's just a guess that I have. I feel like B-copters kind of go this way on average. When they have nothing better to do, they just kind of go this way, I think.
I just see them being splashed in the army to support the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, you could take them anywhere, really, but it just feels like they get to the action closer by going north. Whereas if they go this way, they need to take, like, 3 turns before they get to hit something. Okay, so I sort of capture a lot this turn. So, like, you know, I have a lot of forward properties that I'm capturing at once, which is nice because then you don't get interrupted as easily. Oh yeah, and this was kind of silly. Like, I thought that I was going to build an infantry here, but I actually built an artillery instead, so this T-copter is just awkwardly waiting for an artillery to get inside of it. I'm pretty conservative with my tank. I just kind of plop it in a nearby forest because I don't want it to get scouted and then killed. That would be like the worst case scenario. So I like put my tank in a very safe, very, very overly safe place because I'm just like, I don't even want to worry about it. And then, as I said, I go tank, artillery, and then no infantry to go on the T-copter, which is a little awkward. But as I'm making these, I'm like, okay, between these 3 captures, at least one's going to get interrupted, right? Just like, that was my guess, because that's what normally happens when I play on this map. But actually, yeah, both of these captures are safe, and I was really happy about that. I was pretty delighted to see that I get to get all these 3 properties, which are always pretty contested normally. I guess the comm tower you usually get for free, but not always. So, okay, I move up with a recon, and like, I don't see the tanks anymore, and I'm like, oh god. Okay. So now I have to like move forward pretty carefully with my stuff. And so I actually have 4 tanks here. So like, this is kind of the... this is my strong side. I'm going to outproduce you move. So I'm going to have more tanks than you and just like, just win based on that.
I laugh because this reminds me of the horror movie when you don't know where's the villain and you're like, where is he? Where is he? Lurking in the shadow.
Yeah.
The fabulous infantry wall from Djus.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of infantry here. If I recall correctly, don't you attack this turn? Yeah, there's some attacks that happen. Okay, so I see the mech there, and I have an infantry here, and I'm like, ooh, don't mind if I take a shot at him, because I know how valuable mechs are. But I see you have 2 APCs, 2 mechs. Actually, I don't see this mech yet, but I see 2 APCs, and it's like blocking the mech, and I'm like, oh gosh, so annoying. Where are the tanks? Why are there 2 mechs here? And then I start getting like pot shotted, and I'm like,
At that point in the game, I was proud. I was like, am I doing good? Am I smart? Am I beating DPSI for once? I got very excited about these engagement and these strats.
yeah, okay. It looks like you must have built it. Yeah, there's the B copter up in the upper right. So you did B copter anti. So you have 2 anti-air B copter. I feel like that's actually like. I feel like this anti-air should be a tank. I think that 2 anti-air B copter is a little too much anti-air support.
That's funny because yesterday when I did my video with Countby, he told me my anti-air behavior are sometimes good, sometimes bad, but having more than not enough is always better.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's just more than what I do. I'm kind of lax with that. In fact, like I saw the anti-air and it reminded me. I was like, wait a minute, you can build B-copters. So I was like, oh shit, I built anti-air B-copter. Forgot about those units. Okay, so I see here I'm going to attack from the road to get the road bonus with the tower. So that does a lot of damage. It brings it down to 2, and then there's like a very, very high chance for a KO here. If it's not, maybe it's guaranteed actually based on the damage before. So here's another road bonus. I'm thinking like, okay, never mind. I did the thing I didn't. Okay, and I remember this guy was up here, so there's a 2-hit KO here. So that's like already a fair amount of dead units that happened this turn, which feels great. I moved the artillery up, kind of trying to get it as active as I can this turn. Then another infantry shot. This one, not the best. It's just like Sammy's really strong. So I kind of like see all this strength in the center, and I see the tank here. So I'm like, I kind of want to move more this direction, just see if I can like get you overextended like you are here, and then win in this part of the map. So yeah, it looks like I got a KO here, and then I actually decided to get aggressive and go for this tank kill. I guess what I see is I see tank, anti-air, and like all these mechs and stuff, and I'm thinking he probably doesn't have that much more stuff happening. And I also have these 2 guys as backup, so like this is, I think, a safe enough engagement. But it's like kind of borderline. Okay, this guy, I remember not knowing what to do with him, so I just plopped him in a forest so that you don't know where he is. Attacking from the road here with this infantry, I don't remember if I did it or not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I stick him on the tower, yeah.
And I think that was
it just
a good call.
I just felt like it was too deep. I think the split would have been like 6-6 or something, which just doesn't really feel like what you want to do.
Especially when you enter like my territory, you may lose your unit. That new thing, man, I was shocked to see it that early. I was like,
yeah.
What? Already?
I concealed it too. Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking like, all right, I have a good core of 4 tanks here. I'm against Sammy, so she probably has some mechs all over the place. So I want to tech to heavy tank like kind of faster than normal because they're not affected by mechs really. So I was like, I have good money for it. I can almost full buy with neo tank infantry. So I was like, hey, might as well kind of go for a surprise. There's no way she has a bomber this early. Just kind of go for something. Go try to and like neo tanks are always good.
Yeah, I
they're
know.
like
They are like
they're
one
just
of my
excellent units.
they are one of my favorite unit I never use. They're really good, but I
Yeah,
never
I know,
use
right?
them because I
Yeah.
feel like most of the time you want to outnumber your enemy, and like medium tank is like just very effective. But sometimes I'm like, oh, today I really want that neo tank because I know they are really good and really strong. They have that punch. But yeah, it's especially in iPhone. Actually, in iPhone, the meta is medium tank spam, but in fog, Neotang is actually a very viable option, I think.
Oh, in high funds, I much prefer neo tank.
Really? That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
so far
I
I haven't played that much iPhone. I played maybe like 5 games and 5 in going. So like I played like roughly 10 games. So far the meta is really medium tank spam. But I'm surprised you tell me you think are really good in iPhone. I'm surprised because I feel like the meta is really like medium tank spam.
no, I think neo tanks are. I mean, I think that like we've always been saying like for a long time that neo tanks were the better offensive unit and medium tanks were the better defensive unit. And I feel like I didn't really see that until Lillian started playing high funds last year about this time, and Lillian like really showed me how to use the neo tank, and like won a lot of games by going early neo tank and high funds and just like crushing with it, kind of like going for the neo tank bomber tech line.
Yeah.
And then in high funds, actually, like there's a long history of like the old fog greats went heavy on neo tanks on this map. Blick Winkle and WIJ, they were both big fans of neo tank here. So yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking when I went neo tank, and I was like, you know, good against the mechs. I probably outnumber in tanks in this area. I can just get a heavy tank out, no bomber, I bet, and just get like look for a great first strike and just like have a really strong punch. Okay, so I see that tank dies, and I'm like, okay, mild bummer, but as long as this guy doesn't get hit, I'm positive. I think like I'm coming out ahead in the engagement. Okay, I see the mech go into the forest, and I'm like, oh god, oh god.
My artillery!
Please don't have another tank. So you go pretty aggressive with this counterattack, actually diving on a infantry with a mech, which is like really aggressive. So yeah, this one actually does not work out for you, and this is where I get a foothold back in the game. Okay, so I'm thinking like, how can I optimize to get a good arty shot, a good infantry shot on the mech. I have 3 tanks here. There's 1 tank here. There's an anti-air target potentially. I have power soon. Like, there's a lot to think about. And then I noticed this B-copter can hit from the road onto the mech with power. And I was like, okay, I got to get power this turn because it's gonna open a lot of doors for me. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I charge my power? That was really risky. I probably should have had power to do that move. Yeah, that was pretty risky. So I attack with a tank in the center here, and now I have power. And actually, I probably should have attacked this tank with this tank. There are kind of some. This could have been optimized a bit. Oh yeah, and I have the option to cripple the anti-air too, which feels great. So this infantry scouts, then B-copter hits from the road.
Oh,
Then artillery hits, and I'm like, okay, this felt great. Like, excellent. Feels awesome. So now what it comes down to is like, how can I finish off some of these? Ooh, a little bit of lag. Are you still there?
yeah.
Okay, good. So now I'm thinking like, how can I finish off these units without dying? So sort of like a safe attack there, and I don't get to kill this mech, but it's not the worst. Also, I'm kind of thinking like,
How did
I
you
guess
see
there was
that
supposed to be-
infantry?
We can go back a turn and then forward a turn, maybe.
Because it's in a forest.
I got trapped, I think, and maybe the trapped animation doesn't show. But
Yeah, you
yeah,
got
so-
trapped.
yeah, this guy goes back to heal, which is great. They do some like pretty forward captures. This one being the craziest. I feel like if I can put this infantry here capturing, then I kind of force. It might take some pressure off of my tanks because they feel pretty far forward right now, and I secretly don't have any backup to this.
And you don't
So
expect
this-
me
this
to use
feels-
my power as well.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Victory March.
That's funny. You know why? I ate Victory March. I know it's broken. I know it's really good. But I see Victory March as more like a endgame move to seal a victory or to break a stalemate. But I do think her power is much more useful because Sami is good early in the game, and the longer the game will be, the worse she becomes, because at some point the direct unit are like the center force of your army. Like early in the game, the capture game is very important, that's why she's really good, but the longer the game will be, the worse she becomes, like against any COs, except maybe Grim, because Grim is just trash. But anyway, what I mean by there is Victory March may be really crazy OP, but when I see a Sami player just waiting for the Victory March, I know the guy relies too much on it, and I'm less scared by him than a player that just uses double time most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I think the thing is too, like you're not playing in a way that is Victory March friendly because you're trading off infantry for infantry,
Yeah.
and like your own infantry are dying in the process. Whereas you want your Victory March infantry to live at like 2 HP, like this dude.
I never count on Victory March. I really like use Victory March in few cases where I am already winning and I want to seal a victory, or if there's a stalemate and we are like even in numbers because for some reason I haven't used my power because there was no good way to use it, then I will consider Victory March. But I consider myself like a Sami player because I do understand how she works, and I may not be the best one, but I still have a good understanding of her playstyle, and that leads me to believe like I'm a Sami player, and as I mentioned earlier, the power for me is much better as Sami than her super because it's 3 stars and you can get good value out of it.
Yeah, I think in this, like in the current situation, I kind of agree with double time. I guess, kinda. But like, really, like I mean, all that's happened in the last few turns. Like, if we go here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 infantry. If you had Victory March right now, you would like destroy me.
Yeah. But it's late. I had like 1 star charged.
But now, after a few turns, you're down to like 3.5 infantry, and
I think
the issue is
the
issue is that even if you had Victory March, you could only capture like a few cities.
Yeah, the Victory March playstyle is really like be cautious, don't like throw your stuff to kill other stuff, don't do trade, like play really safe. And in my own opinion, I know it's a good way to play, but it's not very fun, it's not like entertaining, it's just boring. You wait, your thing charge, and at some point you're like, oh, it's ready, let's pop it. I just don't like that. I like dynamic games, and maybe that's why I suck. But I mean, I want some action.
I know the feeling.
I want some action. I cannot just sit there and say, look, I build up my forces, I make one big dead ball, and then I deadball you. Nah. I want to smash things.
Yeah, fair enough.
In some maps, when it's in HQ race, then it's very different. I deadball you because I want to HQ race you. But this map is not an HQ race at all.
Okay, so you power, and I actually breathe like a slight sigh of relief because then I don't have to like stick something on my HQ all game. It's a good feeling. So tank hits, and I'm like, okay, bummer. And then, okay, so like a few more vehicle attacks. I'm thinking like, okay, well, if both of my tanks survive, then I'm like in really good shape here. So, okay, now this right here, I think is actually, I think if you go for this tank, it's more crippling.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
It just felt like, so if you think about it, like you can either take 4 tank damage and a kill, or you can do 5 tank damage and like spread it out. So I have like, so it's like an 8, 4, 8, 4, 10. And then it's like in that situation, I guess my B-copter rotates over.
Okay.
And then tank hits tank, and then, yeah.
I understand your point, and I do think in this specific case it could have been great. But here's my thought process while making these decisions. My first game with Count, I believe it was my first game with him or my second game with him, I cannot remember, but that was one of the first few times I fought him. I played as Sami, and the thing I learned from this game, and that thing really helped me out a lot on improving my Sami games and my Sami strats, is unit count is very important with her. Like, it's important with all seals, but Sami and Grit are like 2 seals that, like, the moment they fall behind in terms of unit count, that's the moment they lose, because they cannot really come back in the race, because they just don't have a good enough day-to-day to like come back, or like their power and super are not like good enough to place them back in the race. And after the crazy turn you did before that, killing like one of my mech and a lot of my infantry, I felt like I was falling behind in terms of unit count. So I was like, I need to affect his unit count the best way I can to just survive, because if I just scratch his units, can either remove them to repair them, or he can just like counterattack and cripple me even more in my unit count. So following that thought process, I was like, I need to affect directly his unit count. That's my only option to survive, because I am Sami, and if I fall behind, well, I lost. And I know it was looking really bad already for me at that point. I was like, I will still try, maybe I can surprise him with something. But at that point, I knew I lost. So,
well, you did surprise me. I just felt like it was a good surprise for me. Not all surprises are good for you. But maybe like a different way of improving it would be attack with this tank from the city. That would
Oh,
definitely,
you're right. I
Yeah.
didn't thought about that. And
that would help out a lot.
that's really good. And I think I didn't thought about that because I'm like the artificial intelligence in the game. The first unit I see, I touch it and I move it. So the first unit I was like, okay, that's my tank. I will move the tank. And then, okay, the infantry is right beside the tank. I will move the infantry and shoot the other infantry.
I feel that.
And you see, my infantry was blinking the building. So my first target was the tank, and I was like, okay, I need to move the tank and shoot. I didn't thought about like the best course of option. I was just like, tank, move, attack.
Yeah. Well, it's hard too when something's blocking the city. You just like don't think about that tile. So yeah, I think if you would have attacked from the city, it's like a little bit like not only is it higher defensive terrain, but it's also like closer to your stuff. Like your stuff should be over here.
Yeah.
And if you're attacking closer to your bases, then I have to go further to hit it, and you don't have to go as far to reinforce it.
Yeah, I think my tank would be at 9 HP instead, so that was like really the best option, but my brain was just not there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
But yeah, you're right. That was like the best course of option.
Because I mean the way that I see it is like just draw a box right here, and it's like tank versus tank, and you have nothing supporting these tanks except for one helicopter.
Yeah.
It just feels like a suicide attack.
Yeah.
So I guess I see this right here, and I'm going. Don't mind if I do. Okay, so your B copter is it's like one tile out of vision. And you're double timing, so everything does a crazy amount of damage. Okay, and previously you built a Neo tank. So that happens to be like a really good setup for you because you have a Neo tank around to deal with my Neo tank, and you built it early enough that this guy isn't going to get very many free hits.
And I also bought it because I felt like I was falling behind you in terms of tank power, because I was like, okay, he got the first strike on my tanks and he was able to take the tank lead, so I needed to take up, because the moment you feel like you are out tank, that's the moment you should like take up. Sometimes you should take up before this happens, so this not happen, but like the moment you feel like you're behind, you should take up. That's like the survival way to do stuff. If you don't, you're just lost.
Tank up or tech up.
Yeah.
Okay. Or recon up, which is what I did.
Wow.
Yeah,
but I can understand because you're out of vision, so this is actually really good.
Yeah. I had this deep recon and I had no vision over here except for this dude. I just felt like I don't know what's going on. We're about to get into like high tech units. I want more vision, and of course, again, like the builds lined up. Actually, I could have done infantry tank for the same cost, but no, I wanted visions. That's what I went for. And then you went tank, anti-air, recon. Well, one of your anti-air just got smacked, so that makes sense. And then
yeah,
another recon over here.
I overkilled the anti-air this game because you will see, but I overkilled the anti-air because I know in this map bombers are really, really strong, and I was really scared, and I don't want a fighter to counter a bomber, especially in this map, because there are so many engagements that you need the tank power. So in this map, I think the anti-air are much better than the fighter, except if your opponent has some stupid unit called the stealth. But outside of the stealth, the unit that should not exist, in this map I don't see why you should make a fighter, because yes, you have like 25-ish, 27-ish, I think. Yes, it's a lot, but if you make a fighter, then you have like 7k, and with 7k, what do you get? One recon to infantry, one APC to infantry, so you will fall behind in terms of firepower, and there's like a lot of action in this game, in this map, I believe, because both players have access to so much money that there's a lot of action everywhere. So if one turn you have like 2 infantry late in the game, in this map, I think this is the moment you actually lose, except if you are already winning and these extra infantry are just killing your opponent more. But if you are behind and you're into making like 2 infantry the same turn, that means you probably lost in this map.
Okay, sure. Okay, so what I see here is like 2 free-ish looking tanks, but I don't know what's in the back. So we'll see how well I defend these tanks. I think that I kind of like move everything to.
Yeah,
defend
you
the attack.
really
At least
slapped me around. My downfall is only starting.
Okay, so I probably should have made that recon move earlier, but like, this is something I talked about last time too, I think, which is like moving your vision so that you can see as much as you can first, and then like get as much vision as you can in your early moves, and then make your attacks later. So I see this, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of empty space, and there's 2 tanks, and I'm like, am I doing better than I thought I was? Like, where's all the stuff?
All the stuff died.
I'm like, okay, I'll just tentatively attack everything.
Yeah, this turn like really sealed your victory. You already won before that, but this really sealed it. Oh. And I was so sad and pissed off. I was like, no, my vision! I wanted that copter!
Yeah.
I can't have it! I'm in range! I just don't see it.
Yeah, I kind of realized after the fact that like this actually it was kind of important that there was like some ordering I could have done to put a unit there, I think. But yeah, anyways, this is like a pretty strong move and it worked out well. So I mean, if we look at the values here, it looks like I'm winning pretty hard on both unit count and unit values.
This is exactly what I was speaking about earlier. Once Sami fall behind in terms of unit count, she lost. That's basically what's going on.
So this is kind of like the death throes of the game where you're just kind of A-clicking everything and then...
This is exactly the glitch I was talking about now. The replay broke. So we need to refresh.
Oh yeah. Oops, okay.
But that's fine.
Okay, so you yeet, and then this is the turn where I reveal my Neo tank because I was looking for a good spot to, and I see, okay, I can like one-shot this tank. I can kill the anti-air with my other stuff, and it's just going to be a good time. So almost everything here dies, and then yeah, I clear out the B-copter as well, and then clear off some stuff. So yeah, this is like, at this point I was like, okay, there's no way he wins this. I have too much stuff going on. Neo tank comes in to kill with a power, and I realize, okay, with a super I can just like, I'm already convinced the game's over, but I can convince him with a Neo tank on Neo tank hit. And that happens, and then everything else is dead. Unit count is like half of what I have, and unit values.
And then I resign.
Next turn resign, yeah, there you go. Okay.
So, man, thank you a lot for coming in here again. And That was very fun. I enjoyed this game much more than the other one. Even if I knew the outcome like by day 12 or 13, I still enjoyed my time much more. Did you thought we had a better game this time around than the previous time, or it was as bad both times?
No, this one was big. The beginning, you had an advantage, and I was like, okay, well, let me just like think about how to deal with this. I go 4 tanks versus 2, and sort of like carefully moved around until I found like a good opportunity to like out tactics you, which is basically what it was. It's just like that's what it is. Like sometimes, like you just build an intuition for what attacks work and what don't, and that if it's good intuition, then like you can get yourself out of a lot of bad situations just by having the right tactics.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to add, or anything you would like to plug?
Oh gosh, I'm like, I don't have very much to plug right now. I'm just check out my YouTube channel if you want to, DPSI Duck, and it has yeah, advanced wars videos and stuff. It's gonna be a while before I upload, and it's been a while since I have. So
It's in the description below if guys are interested. I really highly suggested. That guy is a good guy and he does good content and he is a good player. Everything is good, right?
thank you.
So as I said in the description below. So before we close, anything else to add?
No, thanks so much for inviting me on.
Thank you for coming in. Anyway, I hope guys enjoyed. A like, comment. Don't hesitate to go over DPSI channel. And see you next time for more Advance Wars content. Have a great day all. And yeah, that's it.